PS Professor Fatuma Chege for Curriculum Reforms in the Ministry of Education, the conveners of this conference, Professor Walter Oyawa, DG Nakosti, and Dr. Jemima Onzare, CEO, National Research Fund, invited keynote speakers and panelists, CEOs of our state agencies, chairpersons of universities, councils and state agencies and research institutions, partners and research scholars, players in STI sector, industrialists, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. It is gratifying to be here today where we have an assembly of distinguished scholars and scientists thinking together about how to make STI more relevant and to contribute to our national development. I like the discussion about STI governance and mainstreaming infusion in national development agenda in a disrupted world. We are always a disrupted world. And when there is disruption, the developing countries suffer more. The countries that don't have clear structures on how to deal with themselves at the time when there is no disruption get more affected when there is disruption. I must therefore thank each one of you for having that positive attitude and the goodwill to support the good idea of us coming here today to think together about how we can promote science, technology, and innovation to make our scholars globally competitive and to contribute more in the interest of our nation and humanity as a whole. I believe that from the discussions that will go on, and of course, there was a lot of brainstorming yesterday between stakeholders, and I want to appreciate the organizers for that. I believe we shall come up with a framework which will put our nation, through our scholars and research scientists, on the path to achieve more. To achieve more, put our nation high on the map, and increase our pace in sustainable development of our nation. I'm just wondering how we can embrace emerging technologies and utilize them to remain relevant and globally competitive. When you talk about a sovereignty of a nation and the national pride and national recognition in the family of nations across the world, you look at the scholars who are there, what contributions they have made, the institutions they have established, and how they are functioning in terms of capacity building, not only for the nation, but for humanity. So do we wish to spend time trying to outdo each other? Or we want to spend time thinking together, analyzing issues, reviewing the situation in which we are, assessing our potential, and finding ways of motivating those who have the capacity to do more for us as a nation. I think that's the attitude that has brought all of us together here. And therefore, it should be the idea of strengthening the partnerships amongst all players in science, technology, and innovation, so that we motivate our scientists, we motivate our researchers, and we motivate all the players who play significant roles in making it work so that they achieve their utmost. And I want to very strongly refer to what Albert Einstein said that all of us have great capacity and we're endowed with the abilities that are unique to us, so that if each one of us has an opportunity and motivated to do his or her best, and just at 1/5 of our capacity, then we can turn around the world. Just 1/5 of our capacity, which we rarely achieve as human beings, according to Albert Einstein. Just 1/5. But the way we are, I keep asking myself a lot of questions. Who recognizes the great scholars and scientists? Who motivates them? Who puts them where they should be so that they are challenged and even encouraged to lift themselves higher? I believe all this will be captured so that from here onward, a scientist will have his or her place in our society and will feel great to do greater things than just playing in the normal pool. I'm asking myself about expenditure on research in our country. If we are not yet at 1%, when shall we reach the 2%? Because there is also good thinking and good talking, but there should be good doing as well. So that, again, you talk about a lot of preaching, but no action. Then it amounts to zero. So we are all players in this field, and I want to urge everyone to make his or her contribution, so that whatever we come up with here, because I know great ideas will emerge, let us put into practice as much as possible. We can attain 100% of implementation. And this goes with funding. We are in discussion with the political leadership through the Committee of the National Assembly, and they're extremely positive about the need to support research in our country, so that we provide for better performance in science, technology, and innovation, with an additional segment of commercialization. And Dr. Tony Omwanza, the CEO of Kenya, is very enthusiastic about commercialization. And I'm very happy that Kenya is now on its track to complement the effort of NACOSTI and National Research Fund. National Research Fund is supporting over 300 research projects, but the potential is immense, and the National Research Fund cannot deal with the entire potential with the little funds that they have. But whatever they are funded makes a lot of sense and contributes to knowledge. It encourages scientists, and I see a lot of synergies formed between institutions and universities, where people with common interest and common knowledge come together to work on research projects. And this is extremely encouraging. I've also witnessed where they have provided equipment and even infrastructure to encourage research in universities. So how do we get all champions of research, of science, of technology and innovation to fellowship together more strongly, to establish collaborative working synergies and motivate them to work to achieve more and become globally more competitive, to be recognized? And that will make Kenya greater. Right now, our athletes are in Tokyo. And as usual, we expect them to take the lead in some aspects of the competition. We will want scientists to feature more where the greatest of the world are discussing issues. Therefore, the way we think, ladies and gentlemen, determines what we become as a people and as a nation. And therefore, we must think about the best ways to promote STI, and we must think about the best way to work together, have a shared vision that is very strong, shared objectives, so that we provide solutions to the challenges that we experience in our nation and improve our economy. We keep talking about knowledge-based economy, and we have the cream of our scholars here today. And that's why I want to think, and this is my challenge to the conveners, that the outcomes of this conference should not be put aside to gather dust the way we usually do. And then they are sneaked elsewhere to another neighboring country, and then they get to implement them while we remain as we are. Let no idea go to waste. Let these ideas be put to use. Let us come out to campaign to get the support of those who determine the destiny of our nation, so that science and technology is prioritized. I once again want to thank you for the goodwill you have demonstrated by coming here today, and wish everybody a pleasant stay, fruitful contributions, and from here we call it a turning point in science, technology, and innovation for our country and for humanity. Thank you so much.